We get so many interesting comments from you guys, and some of them really stick out to us. And there have been several of you telling your stories in our comment section about how you feel like you've been intentionally sabotaged by people that you know while you're trying to live your new ketogenic lifestyle. And I don't mean people just discouraging you in general. I mean people literally feeding you sugar unknowingly. So we're going to talk about an article today that kind of describes what this is about and give you some advice on what you can do about it. So Sarah and I came across this article on Quartz called "If You Want to Lose Weight, Don't Tell Your Friends." So we're just going to read through this article and discuss it with you guys. And I think it's going to give some insight as to how people operate when someone that they know is changing their life. Right now, someone you know is trying to lose weight. It's more likely to be a woman, as studies have shown. It may even be you, bounding into the new year, eager to make a huge change in your life. The odds are stacked against her or you. It's not easy sticking to a diet, lifestyle change, or whatever you want to call it. And 92% of New Year's resolutions fail. Here's what doesn't help. Oh, come on, treat yourself. Well, if you're not going to have a dessert, then I won't either. I don't know what you're talking about. You're fine the way you are. You've probably heard these phrases before. You may have uttered them yourself with nothing but good intentions. But let's be clear. They're sabotage. Unless you're exhibiting signs of disordered eating or compulsive eating, an important question to ask yourself, rather than your efforts to reach a healthier weight and your reasons for dieting, are nobody's business but your own. So this article is from January 9th, 2018, and it talks about sabotage in relationships when one person is trying to change their life in any way. And if you scroll down, it says here, if you think your friends and even family are trying to sabotage your weight loss efforts, you're not alone. A Stanford study showed that over 75% of women never or rarely experienced support from friends or family when it came to losing weight. That is a pretty high number.
I think that I'm lucky because I have someone like you that is also going along this journey, and we can always talk about ideas and motivate each other and talk about recipes, but I don't think a lot of people have a really great support system when it comes to weight loss, so that's unfortunate.
I also think that keto is like you're in it or you're not. And so you can kind of alienate yourself from a group or your family when you decide to eat this way because it is so different than the standard American diet. Yes. It's so different than what you would find in a group setting, food-wise. So we've been to several party-like situations where we gather our keto-friendly food and people just stare because it's mostly just meat. Why would people who love you sabotage your efforts to do something so difficult? There are many reasons, ranging from benign, wanting you to enjoy something delicious, to pathological. Sarah and I have been on this lifestyle since January of 2019, but Sarah and I have also been on and off keto for the last 2 decades or so, gaining and losing hundreds of pounds. Sarah and I would go on keto for a couple months or maybe 8 months and lose 20, 30, 80 pounds, gain it all back, whatever, but sometimes we're not on this lifestyle at the same time. There would be times when Sarah was super motivated or I was super motivated, and I would tempt you and you would tempt me because we knew that the other one was doing the right thing and we wanted somebody to binge with. I'm going to be ordering this today and come on.
It wasn't but I didn't have ill intention.
No, it wasn't ill intention. There would be occasions where we would want each other to binge with us so that we weren't alone in it, so that we were in it together. That's like some codependent, weird stuff. And that happens within groups of people.
Yep.
And it happens within 2 people. So I don't know if that's benign or is that benign or no, I don't think that's benign. Do you think that's benign?
It says here it's benign and then in parentheses wanting you to enjoy something delicious. Maybe they have never had to restrict their diet.
Or they really put a lot of effort into something. They made something for you and they just really want you to try it. It's about them really because they want you to compliment them about it. And it's not really about you. It's about them wanting to prove to you that they are a good cook or show off in that way. And I would say that's benign. But then there are people that are pathologically bad. I don't know if you can count me as being pathological. I feel like we are very supportive of each other, but we can also kind of lead each other astray if it suits us in that moment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like pressuring each other to do this or that. And even though we know that for your health, it would probably be better if you were just to stay on.
Right.
But I want to make myself feel better. Therefore,
I want you
just
to
come on in. Come on in. The water's warm. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is that we both binge for
months at a time,
and then we have to start all over again. Publicly declaring your goal to shed some weight can be a threat to others. Psychologists have found thin privilege is a part of this. For women in particular, the slimmer you are, the more privileged you are in your love life, career, and economic situation. Studies have shown that both men and women consider women to be more attractive when thin and actually under a healthy weight. This is a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But it's important to read that just so that we can get to the next part. This depressing truth can trigger competitiveness and feelings of inferiority in your eating companions. For example, if you opt for a salad instead of the pasta, the other person might feel pressed to do the same, matching your weight loss efforts in a competitive way. Their insecurity may also manifest in trying to dissuade you from dieting or questioning whether you should carry on with your goals.
I actually had someone in my life that used to do this when I would go out to eat with them. I would be on my diet and I wouldn't like proclaim it or anything like that. But while we were looking at the menu, she'd be like, "Are you on your diet?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she'd be like, "Ugh, I hate when you're on your diet." Like it affected her some way. Even though she was able to eat whatever she wanted, for some reason she thought I was restricting or not in a good mood because I was ordering whatever I was ordering that didn't have carbs in it. I don't know why it was affecting her, and it kind of made me feel bad that I was dieting in a way. Maybe I should just go out to have fun or something. So I definitely have had instances in the past where I've gone through this, so it definitely is real.
Funny you should mention that, because the next paragraph states, it may not be even as complex as that though. Some studies show that friends actively avoid other friends, or if they are dieting, sabotage their efforts because they become boring.
I don't think me choosing a steak and a vegetable over anything else makes me boring. But who knows? Maybe it does.
A study shows that to avoid social awkwardness, those actively looking to manage their weight give up on their plans or alter their behavior, sometimes drastically, to maintain relationships. Some end up creating cheat days on which they can ignore their diets on social occasions. The problem with cheat days is that they offer greater risk of falling into binge eating, one of the key causes of becoming overweight. And so you pretty much say, I know that on this day, I'm going to see these people and they are not going to be happy if I don't eat what they eat. Therefore, I will cheat on this day. And so you're pretty much setting it up in your own mind, giving yourself a pass to do that because of the social awkwardness involved with explaining your diet or how you should eat in front of other people. So this part of the article, I had never heard this term before. And so I was kind of like, not laughing at it, but I've honestly felt like this a lot in the last 20 years, so it really resonated with me. Okay, so of all the reasons your friends might sabotage you, the most dispiriting one is that they might want to keep you fat because it makes them feel better. There's a term for it.
Really?
Yeah. The term DUFF, D-U-F-F, which stands for Designated Ugly Fat Friend.
That's horrible.
Suggests that within a group, there is always one person that is perceived as less attractive than the rest, that actually elevates the perceived attractiveness levels of the non-Duffs, say researchers. There are researchers that are researching this.
That's crazy. I have never thought about that.
And it says here,
that's ridiculous.
the studies say that's why nobody wants to lose their Duff.
It's not funny, but I don't, it's crazy. Honestly, I have never, ever thought that way about someone.
Honestly,
like, you're going to be my Duff.
I feel like
Because you were the Duff.
Yes.
I'm having this realization. No. I'm the Duff?
I felt like that.
I'm not the Duff. No way.
Know.
I'm not the Duff. Honestly, though, I've never thought that way. And I don't think I would ever, maybe because I've been fat.
Yes, but you have to understand, though, that a lot of people are really insecure. Sarah and I have been obese most of our lives. Sarah and I always were dependent on our humor to compensate for the fact that we were fat. Admit that at least.
Self-deprecating? Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
But self-deprecating, absolutely. That's like my brand.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily like people that are egotistical. So I just kind of like takes the edge off when you're able to make fun of yourself a little bit, you know?
I always felt like my humor was like a defensive mechanism against people pointing it out that I was
They
fat.
didn't need to point it out because you were
I
pointing
already
it out,
made it clear that I already know, hey, you don't need to tell me, you know? And Sarah and I have always also just been awkward, so there's
Right.
that. And Sarah and I are
That just
kind
comes
of
naturally.
just strange, so that kind of humor is our like
Forte.
way we operate. Yeah, but we were the designated fat funny friend diff. We were the diffs. DFFF.
I've never thought that way about anybody. I'm going to add you to my group because you're ugly to make myself feel better. I have never thought that.
People are researching it.
I guess,
Okay?
but
Your friends aren't always to blame, though. There's also self-sabotage. If you know that going to certain restaurants or buying particular foods will tempt you, avoid them. Duh. And stay away from triggering situations or people that are likely to make you want to stress eat. So now that we've gotten past the duff stuff, Sarah and I have also talked about this on this channel. But even just the act of telling your friends of your intention to make big changes to yourself or your life can be a form of self-sabotage. Psychologists have found that making a public declaration of your identity goals to change your concept of who you are, from choosing a career path to becoming a better parent to achieving a specific weight, can spectacularly backfire. For one thing, if you tell people your goals, you're less likely to be motivated or put in as much effort to succeed.
I think it all comes down to the fact that you can only rely on yourself when it comes to changing your life and making it better with your health or whatever. You're never going to find people that are going to motivate you enough if you don't have that within your own self. So you don't need to make an announcement to everybody that you're going to be on keto and everything like that, because it's probably just going to backfire in your face, because the moment that those people see you eating a donut or something, they're probably going to be like, I thought you were on keto.
When you go against what everybody else is doing, everybody else takes a look at themselves and goes, well, now it's pointed out to me what I'm doing is wrong, and what you're doing is an affront to the way I'm choosing to eat right now, and therefore now I feel bad. You're making everybody feel bad. You're pulling down the vibe of the group. And so you have to say, why does it concern you so much what I'm eating? If you want to eat that, then go ahead. We're not sharing it. I mean, you all are ordering your own thing. Why does it matter? I'm the same person.
Yeah.
And if they have something to say, oh, well, you're not as fun. If I don't eat carbs, I'm not as fun. Like, I get drunk on carbs or something. When you start to like question them back, they really have nothing to say, because it's really starting to say a lot about the way that they operate. When you're pointing out to them, I'm sorry, but why does this concern you? Don't you want to support me? I'm trying to lose weight so I feel better.
Right.
Or I'm trying to get healthier so I feel healthier.
Right.
Why can't you support me in that? I really would appreciate your support. If you tell the person, I really could use your support, this is really difficult, and if they still do it, then maybe you should reevaluate your relationship with that person, because you're telling them flat out what you need, and they are still trying to get you to cheat on your diet just so that they feel better. The other thing is, there have been a couple comments of people saying that they've been intentionally sabotaged by people putting sugar in their coffee or feeding them a dessert that they said was keto friendly but wasn't. You should really, really confront this person.
Yeah.
You should make it clear and say that, you know, I have been working really hard, and ketosis is a state that your body goes into when you eat less than this amount of sugar, carbs, and you just kicked me out of it, and it took me days to get in it. And why would you do something like that to me?
Yeah, that's very what is it called when it's like
evil? It's like maniacal.
Yeah,
It's very, very serious. That someone, oh, you heard that they're allergic to gluten, so you feed them something on purpose to see if what they're saying is true.
That's horrible.
If someone does that to you, that is a huge reflection on them. You should not trust them around your food. You should not trust them, period. Because to alter somebody else's food is seriously messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And they should be held accountable, and you should probably just make it clear that you know what they did and that it's not acceptable and you won't stand for it. At some point, you have to put your foot down with these people.
And then eventually they'll get over it, right? Like, I think at that time when someone told me that I hate when you're on your diet or whatever, I continued on my diet. I ordered whatever I wanted. I didn't cheat. And she never did that again. So you just have to persevere through those types of comments, and then they'll get over it. Like, people will eat carbs around me and be like, oh, this is terrible. You wouldn't want it anyway. Now people are a little bit more supportive. But you just really cannot rely on anyone to support your journey, pretty much. I know that sounds terrible. You can know within yourself that you're making the right decision. You don't need everybody else agreeing with you.
And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps push our content out to new audiences so more people can see it. And please subscribe to our channel if you're not. We would really love if you would and be a part of our Keto Twins community.
And if you guys are lacking motivation and you can't seem to stay on keto, we did a video about the psychological reason why you might not be able to stay on keto. You can click on the video on the screen and we'll see you over there. Anyway, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Emily.
And we are the Keto Twins signing out.